Good afternoon, church. I hope you are doing well today. You may have a bonus edition to this midday devotion, which would mean that you're going to hear my kids screaming in the background. It is almost nap time for Michael, and he usually cries to let us know that he's ready to go to sleep. So, as we tune in today for the midday devotion, I'm going to try and be brief. I said 5 minutes or less, and they're almost always like 4 minutes and 58 seconds. And so, but in our Bible fluency plan, we just began in the book of Psalms. And friends, that is exciting to me because for two reasons. One, it's like super applicable, and you don't have to really dig that deep. They're just boom, 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 it kind of gives you wisdom. We're also in Proverbs, so it's a double dose of really applicable stuff. And if I gotta be honest with you, most of the Psalms are super short. And so I love, as you're in the daily discipline and trying to develop those disciplines of reading the scriptures, I gotta be honest with you, I love to see a short chapter. And so today we had two short chapters, Psalm 3 and Psalm 4. And two of my favorite takeaways from these is in Psalm 3, verse 3 and 4. It says, "But you, Lord, are a shield around me, my glory, and the one who lifts up my head. I cry aloud to the Lord, and he answers me from his holy mountain." And I just think about those that are going through tough times due to this season, whether you're now a homeschool parent and you weren't planning on that because school's canceled, or whether this has just made your work schedule like crazy difficult. Maybe you're going through layoffs. Maybe you're worried about your job. David is in troubled times in Psalm 3, and he says, "But you, Lord, are a shield around me." He's our protector. He's my glory. He's the one who lifts up my head. I think of when we get weary, our heads just droop, and it says that the Lord is the one who lifts our head, and we cry aloud to him, and he answers us. And so continue to cry aloud to the Lord. He hears you, and he will answer you. And then in chapter 4, he's talked about how there's wickedness going on in the area. In Psalm 4, he's talking about how and then in Psalm chapter 4, he starts out with saying, he says, "Answer me when I call, God who vindicates me. You freed me from affliction. Be gracious to me and hear my prayer." And so he's talking about going through some hard times, and where really this following God isn't going too balmy and too calm and too comfortable. It's rough. And I think about in verse 7, so chapter 4, verse 7 and 8, it says, "You have put more joy in my heart than they have when their grain and new wine abound. I will both lie down and sleep in peace. For you alone, Lord, make me live in safety." And so in chapter 3, he says, "Lord, you are my shield, you're my protector, you're the one that lifts my head. I cry to you and you hear me." And then in chapter 4, he says that you've put more joy in my heart than they have when their grain and new wine abound. And again, he's talking about his walk with God in the midst of difficulty. And so isn't it true that we as Christians only have that type of hope, that in the midst of hard times, the Lord is our shield, he's our protector, he's the one that lifts our head and gives us joy. And then also he says he puts more joy in my heart than whenever the non-Christian has everything that they want. So even on the Christian's worst day, we have more hope in our lives than a non-Christian on their best day. And so, friends, I encourage you to have joy today. If you're weary and you're downtrodden, wow, that's an old biblical antiquated word. Sorry. If you are discouraged today and facing trials, then I encourage you. The Lord is your shield, and he is the lifter of your head. And never forget that even on our worst day, the Lord has put more joy in our hearts than the non-Christian on their best day. Hang in there. Love you. Hope you're doing well. Talk to you tomorrow.